Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts. In today's video, we're going to be making this octagonal shaped box. This box is in two parts with the lid and the base separating, and then the tabs slot together as it were to secure the lid into place. The overall size of the box is 5 inches in diameter, with the bottom portion of the box being approximately 3.5 inches. It's not a difficult box to put together, so let me show you how I made it. We'll start with the bottom half of the box, and you'll need two pieces which are 4.5 inches, and mine is the total width of A4, so it's 8.25. If you're using US letter, you can use the width of US letter. It will mean that you have a normal 1/2 inch glue tab. So along the long side, score at 2, 4, 6 and 8. Rotate, and along the short side, score at 2 and 4. Rotate the piece. So we've got our 1/2 inch tab at the top and our 1/2 inch tab on the right. Take your ruler and line your ruler up so that the bottom edge of your ruler is level with the 4.25 inch mark. Take a pencil and you'll make a pencil mark at 1 and 5 inches on the ruler. You want to do this lightly, enough so that you can see the pencil mark, but not so hard that you're not going to be able to rub the pencil mark away. So 1/4 inch in from the bottom edge, in the first and the second square, we've put a pencil mark. Remove your piece from the board, and you'll now need your ruler and a stylus, and we're going to score from the corner of the square that the pencil mark is in up to the pencil mark. So I'm going to score from here up to here, and then from here up to here, and do the same in this square. So squares 2 and 4 are going to have a scored triangle in them. Burnish along all of the vertical and horizontal score lines. So have your piece so that your tabs are at the top and your glue tab is on the side. We're going to start by cutting up each of these vertical score lines up to the first horizontal, and you want to cut these as neatly as you can. So do that all the way along. Cut up the last score line, rotate and remove that end section. Keep your piece in this orientation, cut up the last score line and remove this rectangle at the end, so just remove that corner piece, and then take a wedge from this glue tab. Okay, so this is how our piece sits. Rotate, I've got my small glue tab on the left and my strip at the bottom. We're going to cut up each of the verticals to the horizontal, so I'm cutting up the score lines within the 1/2 inch section. So we're splitting this into 4. Rotate, and we're going to remove tabs 2 and 4 on each piece. So I'm going to move this 1 and 3 backwards out of the way. Take my longer scissors and I'm going to cut up the score line to remove that section and that section, like so. To finish these tabs off, I'm just going to round off the corners with a corner punch, and this is a personal preference. And now we're going to work on the triangles. So we'll work on this first triangle. I'm going to cut from the corner down to the top point of the triangle. So we're just shaping the square that has the triangle in it, then cut from the point of the triangle up to the corner. So the square that has the triangle in it now has a top which looks like this. So we'll repeat this on the next one. Let's just move these pieces out of the way. So again, I'm going to cut from the bottom corner down to the top point of the triangle, and then from the top of the triangle up like so. Get rid of any of your pencil marks, and now we can burnish the score lines along the side of the triangle. So what we will do is we will add glue onto this section here, and that will then be pulled behind the square that's next to it. So I'm just going to work my way along and just check whether I need to straighten off the sides of any of the squares. Make sure that I've removed all of the score lines that I need to on the square. Now, you will do this on both pieces. You may find it easier to join your two pieces together and then shape them. I'm going to shape each piece independently and then join the shaped pieces together. Add glue to this piece and glue this into place. So we'll do this all the way along. Add glue. So now I'm going to take my second piece, add glue to the small glue tab or the 1/2 inch glue tab, depending what card size you've used. Add these two pieces together. Try and get your score lines lined up. Add glue to my triangle, this one into place, and then I'm going to add glue to this one, and I'm going to add my glue to this last triangle at the same time. So I'm going to slot that one in behind and that one over the top, and then get those lined up neatly. And then once I'm happy, I'm just going to go in, burnish along the small glue tabs where the pieces join on the inside. So we do have a relatively neat finish on the inside. So this is the bottom half of the box. So we'll now make the base, and the base, this section here, and the equivalent on the lid will be exactly the same size. So you'll have two pieces which are 3 inches by 3 inches, and along each side score at 1/2 inch. Fold and burnish along all of the score lines. Then on each piece, we're going to cut away each of the corners like so. So we'll do that all the way around. And then we'll take a wedge from the ends of each of these glue tabs. I'm going to add glue onto all 4 of the glue tabs. Sit my base in the bottom of the box and push my glue tabs into place. Just flip the piece over. You can push the base out slightly if you need to with your fingers from the inside. There's plenty of room to do that. So I'm happy with how that base is looking at the bottom, and then I can go in and just gently burnish the tabs, the base into place. So that's the base of the box in place. For the lid, you'll start with 2 pieces, which again are A4 width or US letter width times 2.5 inches. And along the long side, you'll score at 2, 4, 6, and along the short side score at 2. We've got our 1/2 inch tab at the bottom. Take your ruler, line your ruler up with the 1/4 inch mark down the left hand side. Make sure your ruler is running horizontally, and make a pencil mark at 1 inch and 5 inches. We're now going to create our triangles as we did on the pieces for the base. So follow the same process. Get rid of your pencil marks. Fold and burnish along your horizontals and verticals. Now we are going to have to construct this slightly differently because with the base we cut down each of the lines to the squares and we'd also cut our tabs. Now clearly if we do that, that's going to separate this piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut our tabs after we've glued the piece together. You can start by cutting down each of the score lines within the 2-inch squares as we did with the base or the bottom section, but we're cutting up to the score line for the 1/2-inch tab, so that's still connected here. So we can now move along to the next, like so, and then move along to the next. We're then going to cut our V from our triangle sections as we did with the base. So our pieces are split, they're only held together with this glue tab. We can then go in and fold and burnish our diagonals, and now we can glue our piece together as we did with the bottom portion. So that would be one piece. So now these pieces are glued, we can cut up each of the score lines within the 1/2-inch section at the bottom, and the tabs underneath the triangle are going to remain, and the tabs which are underneath the square are going to be removed. So I'm going to cut along that score line to remove that tab. Keep the triangle, move along to the next score line and remove that tab. And then as I did previously, I'm just going to shape that tab. So you'll do that for both pieces. So now we can join the lid, the top part of the box together. So I'm just going to sit that in there and then join it up at the other end, and then we will take our 3-inch lid piece and we will add this in exactly as we did on the base of the box. So I'm going to sit this in. Obviously you want to take your time with this particular piece because this is going to be on show. Burnish that into place, and now you'll see that the top and the base have got alternate tabs, so the top fits in nice and neatly into the bottom half. So everything's quite floppy at the moment. There's not a lot of rigidity to this, which will obviously change once I've added the DSP using the construction glue. That's going to make this a lot more solid, as it were. So I'm now going to add my decoration to the various sides of the box. Here's the finished decorated box. As you can see, I've added DSP onto all of the surfaces. DSP squares on the sides are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and the triangles were cut from a piece which was 1 3/4 by just under 1 5/8. I would suggest that you cut yourself a triangle out of scrap and see how you like the look of that against the surface, as triangles can be a bit tricky. On the top of the box, I wanted initially to add a large chunky bead on the top. Didn't have one of those. I did, however, have some random wooden discs, so I've painted them in black and white and just stuck them on the top, which has given this handle, as it were, on the top to remove the lid. So here's today's project. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.